Now, we know ranking senators are already eyeing the office of the Senate President ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly in June. And according to feelers, they have kick-started their campaign activities, and particularly South-South senators are saying it is their turn. And that would be the crux of our discussion tonight. Joining me to have this conversation is the member of the South-South Solidarity Group and the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Joseph Wayas Jr., on the South-South quest for Senate presidency. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, sir.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so before we go into the nitty-gritty of today's discussion, let me get your views on the just concluded election. So, as a member of the APC PCC, how will you describe the outcome of the presidential election?
Well, I think it was, it lived up to the billing. It was a worthy exercise. At least 4 of Nigeria's finest came into the middle of the ring. They slug it out. We know all of them. We heard what they had to say. And at the end of the day, the winner emerged. It has to be like that always, that one person will emerge. So it was a successful exercise. It wasn't a selection process, it was an election. We can herald the increase of our democracy as a result of that.
So, did you expect the nail-biting outcome with the 2 top candidates winning 12 states each and the third best winning 11 states and the FCT?
Well, I think they're all God's children. If God divided it like that, I don't think that there's anything much ado about that. I don't think there's much ado about anything. The race is over. The winner has been declared. And the rest of us Nigerians were anxious to get on to business, as what has brought me here today to share my thoughts, our thoughts with you and our Nigerian brethren.
You will. Describing the performance of the APC generally in the South-South in the presidential election and the governorship election where you won your state.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat the question?
I said, how will you describe the performance of the APC generally in the South-South in the presidential election and the governorship election where you won your state?
Well, I think that Cross River should be proud and happy to be asked that question. We were previousthe a state bound in darkness, bound in slavery, held so by the PDP party, and the bravery of our governor, who decided that his people have to be emancipated, have to be set free. He took the bold step. It was a very bold step, very brave step by him. As a result, we can see today that Cross River followed him. They followed good leadership. And with the event of the governor-elect, Senator Bassey Otu, you can see that it was God's doing. The whole state is in harmony. The whole state is in peace. Everybody, the back to South mantra of the APC government touched the heart of many Cross Riverians, and it was, I believe, a landslide he had at the end of the day. So yes, we're happy.
Great. So was there any time you were scared that your party may not win the presidential election and also retain Cross River State?
That would never entered our mind. APC went through a thick process where the best of the best came out. Any of the aspirants that came out would have likely have had something close to the same result, because the best of the best are in APC. And let's not forget that APC is backed by the best supporters, by the best political workers. It's no accident. It's no accident that at the end of the day, APC came out on top. It's no accident. We feel blessed. We don't feel lucky. We feel blessed because we worked for this. We worked and we prayed hard for this success.
So a lot of your party members, chieftains actually, have attributed the party's victory to so many factors. But for you, what factors do you think enabled the APC to win the governorship election, especially in Cross River State for the very first time?
Well, the record of APC the last 8 years, if you're going to be honest or truthful, you would say that this government has tried. We have been through some trying times in the last 8 years, not of anybody's doing. For example, the Corona years were there. The economy, by no doing of the APC, could be better. And despite the trying times, this government did more with less. I mean, just take my state, for example. I'm so glad you asked me that question, because in our state, there's the major infrastructure. The major infrastructure is a bridge that goes over the Cross River Bridge at Ecom. And that bridge, when it was built when I was a kid. It was built just a little bit after the war. I believe it was my dad, as Commissioner of Works and Transport, that even had a hand in building that bridge. That bridge was the sole thing that we could point to in Cross River to say, look, we count in this nation, because that bridge is quite a feat. If you go and stand in the middle of the bridge and you look down, you almost lose yourself because the water is far down. It's far down. Now, Buhari built a second bridge during his tenure. And that second bridge was completed in no time at all. And believe it or not, the country is not talking about it. The country is not talking about it because it's a normal feat. This government has done so many incredible things like that. But I stand in awe of this government because I know that that bridge stood for years as the major, as our claim to fame in the engineering world. So yes, this government can hold its head high that it has done a lot, and of course it set the stage for Nigerians hoping for more, believing that APC are just the team to do it. If I had time, I'd go on and give you even more examples, but I won't. I would spare you.
Ask you, now that the APC has control of Cross River State, what should we expect?
Sweetness. That's what we call our victor, our governor-elect, Senator Basioto. He's called Sweet Prince. So we're looking for days, the Cross River people are looking for days of sweetness. He's a fantastic leader, and we know that he has the capacity to do what it takes. Our governor, Ayade, has given him a gigantic stepping foot, and there's no reason why he cannot do all that it takes to take Cross River to the next level. Please, I'm not here about Cross River, but I'm glad to talk about Cross River, but I'm here for my... I hope they don't do the election and I didn't have a chance to talk.
All right, let's talk further. You're wearing two caps as a leading member of the South-South Solidarity Group. Tell me, what are the aims the group seeks to achieve?
We are a rainbow coalition of many different groups, not only regional from the South-South, but also national. You know, we just finished a busy political season wild political season. Some people don't want it to end, and that's why your earlier questions will make sense. But we just finished a wild political season, and I have been doing this now for at least 3 years. At least 3 years. We started our programs for this election at least 3 years ago. And I have met many, many people, many allies, many friends, and it's every day your portfolio of allies and friends will increase. So we are fortunate that this season many of us were prepared, and that's why as we come together again to do this onerous task of supporting our own, supporting the emergence of the candidate from the South to appear and to win at the end of the day the Senate presidency. We are ready. It's what we have done. Many of us are just a phone call away. We are ready.
So let's talk about the incoming administration. I would like to know, what should Nigerians expect from the president-elect?
Well, I can give you a thought or two, my own ideas, but really the presidency, the presidential campaign for one, and the presidency itself for two, they have sufficient spokesmen that will speak on that. I'm not going to be a jack of all trades. I'm here because of one endeavor, and that is to see that the best candidate, who we believe is Godswill Akpabio, will emerge as the next president of the Senate of Nigeria.
You have a candidate already?
And he in turn will complement the good work being done in every other area of the executive.
All right, so let's talk about that. The lobbying for appointments and positions has begun, and a lot of people are already jostling for the Senate presidency. And some people say it's too early. Is it really too early, Mr. Joseph?
It can't be too early. The inauguration is just around the corner. They've already, I was reading the news the other day, and they've already picked out the car. They've cleaned the car, gassed the car that the new president will drive in. Which one was more important, the Senate president or the car that our new president will ride in? I think that we're starting too late. The other people that are vying or announce their interest to vie for the post, God bless them. We like that. We think that it shouldn't be an all-comers affair, but the best that this country has to offer should come forth. But also in this country, we believe in zoning. We believe in rotation. And the fact is that at least one of the key candidates that has announced his ambition to jostle, because that's what it's going to take, to jostle for the seat of Senate President, is coming from a region, the part of the country that has had this Senate presidency. At least 8 individuals have had it. At least 8 individuals. How can you compare 8 individuals to only one who has had it from the South-South? There is no comparison. We're talking about justice. We're talking about equity. We're talking about fairness. So they should zone it and limit it to the South-South. And I think that if they did that, Nigerians already know who the next Senate president should be. But even if they wanted to become an all-comers affair, we still know who the next president should be, because Godswill Akpabio still stands head and shoulders above everyone else. And by the way, I didn't lead properly into my support for Godswill Akpabio, but I think you know where I stand on that anyway.
All right, Mr. Wayas, I do not think Nigerians already know who the next Senate president will be. But then, what attributes do you think Nigerians should look out for in all of these aspirants jostling for the office of the Senate president?
I'm sorry, you threw me off with your question that Nigerians don't already know. I don't know if you're new in the country, but if you've been reading the newspapers and the news for the last week or so, I think Nigerians have a very good idea who it should be. Godswill Akpabio is a name that keeps recurring and recurring and recurring. So if you're new in the country, I welcome you back home. But in Nigeria today, we know who the next Senate president should be if our prayers are heard and answered.
All right, so once again, what attributes should Nigerians look out for in all of these aspirants, in whoever you think should become the next Senate president?
Well, you can start with their track record. Somebody like Godswill Akpabio, yes, it's good he has the experience, but what good is the experience if it doesn't have feats to show? We know that when he was governor of Akwa Ibom, for instance, we know of the great feats that he did in that state. For instance, the best roads in Nigeria are in Akwa Ibom. He closed his eyes and took the bite and did the right thing. And today, 8 years after he has left office, the roads in Akwa Ibom are still the best in the country. We know also that his other great exploits, particularly in capital projects, he changed the landscape as well as the skyscape of Akwa Ibom. If our Green Eagles want to play football, their first choice is always Oyo Stadium. He built in his own senatorial zone. He built that egg-shaped tower. The only other one that exists, I believe, is in England. Quite an engineering prowess. At least the people of that region can hold their heads high and say we can stand and be counted. There were lots of great feats that he did. He brought development to Akwa Ibom on a scale that had never been seen before, and we know that it was easy for his successor to take off from where he has left. As it is in Cross River, it is easy for Senator Bassi Otu to take off from where Senator Ayade has taken off. It only follows. So Godswill Akpabio has had antecedents, as you know, even as the minister of the Niger Delta ministry. His handling of the Niger Delta area as a minister was second to none. I think we all remember his interview with the National Assembly when they wanted to probe or cross-examine the ministry or even the Niger Delta Commission on the activities that it was doing. We all remember how we, like students, we all sat down and got a tutorial in how to handle the National Assembly as a leader. He handled himself so well. We are still talking about it today. I mean, it wasn't a question of the hunter being hunted. It was turned around, and we know that given the dynamics of the political life in Nigeria, we need someone with the kind of dexterity that Akpabio has, with the kind of ability that Governor Akpabio, Senator Akpabio has. We need that. We need, if the house is on fire, we need somebody to be calm enough to get us to line up orderly and to leave a blazing house and everybody is safe. By the grace of God, Nigerian house will not be on fire, but I think you know what it means. We need people who are level-headed. I think the term in sports is GOAT, the greatest of all time. We need the people who are just great at that, are great at handling us, are great at addressing us, are great at leading us. That's what we need for this country. I can tell you that the last Senate that was in session, more than half their leaders, Nigerians will have trouble remembering who any of them were. And not to say that they were not doing their work at all, but they could have done their work even better.
All right, so I've been speaking with Joseph Wayas Jr., member APC, PCC, and leading member South-South Solidarity Group, who are discussing South-South's quest for Senate President. This discussion will continue after this break. Please stay with us.